So it was a 2-year pilot project that intended to house and support women and their families who were experiencing homelessness in the City of London. It was taking a collaborative approach to housing first.
These women are, many of them still, living with extreme mental and physical health challenges, concurrent addictions.
And I think the piece with gender and health, I mean, women are not accessing health services for so many reasons, especially when they're homeless, but they don't want to show up with mental health issues or with sexual health issues because it says something about them as women. It can impact their children, it can impact, or they believe it can impact whether or not they can have access to their children. So they're staying behind the scenes, infections are growing, they're not accessing the supports that they need.
So we looked at Housing First for Women, we looked at service collaboration, and we looked at how the Homes for Women program was changing the homelessness landscape. Yeah, so we had 7 participants from the Homes for Women program, and we did interviews at 6-month intervals, and those will continue 6 months after program completion, so we're following them in a longitudinal way.
We've been able to take the Women's Exchange grant and really leverage it as we uncovered things that were really important for the community. So for example, we were able to look at the role of the housing support or housing stability worker, which was a very blurred role, very hard to define, and Jen, that was part of your experience, was trying to understand the work that you were doing. And we were able to create a tool, which now we've shared nationally, around the role description of a housing stability worker. We're able to get some funding to support and add on to the work that we were doing with Women's Exchange to do a photo voice project to talk to women about their experiences of moving through the community and accessing services and supports.
We identified that grief and loss was such a central component of trauma for a lot of women in trauma-informed care, because that was a huge outcome that you found with the program, and because of the prevalence of trauma in the lives of these women and how much it impacts their housing status.
Coming back to the gendered lens on Housing First is that grief and loss piece. We had women who literally said, if you're not talking about my kids and me getting my kids back, you're not talking to me. Family law is this huge gap, and that touches on the grief and loss.
It speaks to a lot of issues, but one being that there isn't a lot of safe, adequate, affordable housing within the city.
Right? Yeah. Like safe housing for women and for men are two completely different things. And it felt on many occasions like when you're housing a woman in these spaces, you feel like you're almost setting them up.
So how do we support women? How do we take this promising practice of Housing First and make it as good as it can possibly be for everyone?
We need to have an ongoing conversation about Housing First for Women in the community.